Welcome to Thursday Thought Leaders with Harbinder Narula on BW Healthcare World. We have with us today Dr. Jitendra Sharma, who's the founder, CEO and managing director of Andhra Pradesh MedTech Zone, which is also known as AIC-AMTZ. And today we're going to be talking about the journey towards self-reliance for this particular sector. We're going to be talking about building systems that are congenial for driving innovation in this sector, and also focusing on what is missing or needs that push, which is the focus on research and development. Welcome, Dr. Jitendra Sharma to BW Healthcare World.
Thank you.
Dr. Sharma, let me begin by trying to understand that we have very many manufacturers who keep talking about the regulatory pathways in India being very fragmented and the process being very time consuming. Do you think India is at a point where we need that one window for applying for approvals? And if so, what do you think will make that happen?
So firstly, let me start by thanking a great regulatory journey that India has undertaken. And I'll also give you a very small history. Legislatively, Act comes first, the rules comes next. Yes?
Absolutely.
Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940, our parent act under which this sector is governed, medical technology sector is governed, which was enacted in 1940 in British India. The medical device term does not exist in that act.
Okay.
So we are governed under an act which doesn't even mention us, because medical devices didn't exist in 1940. To circumvent this problem, the government of India, and we all were part of the discussions, deliberations and drafting, the government of India created the Medical Devices Rules 2017, which governs this sector.
Okay.
Which makes it perhaps a unique model in the whole world where rules exist without being mentioned in the act. Because act belongs to 1940 and rules belongs to 2017. And very traditionally, as it was in the act, the medical devices, the food, the pharmaceuticals, the biologics, even cosmetics are governed under the same act.
Right.
Which means the pharmaceuticals, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, which regulates drugs, devices, biologicals and cosmetics together in one act, means you are governing a lipstick or a mascara with the same act, under the same act, where you are governing ventilator and MRI machine.
Wow.
Which means we obviously need to look at the regulatory landscape legislatively even before we do it executively.
Right.
But what can we do at this moment? At this moment, the Medical Devices Rule 2017 governs our sector. There was a period of 3 years for voluntary registration, mandatory registration of devices and producers then kicked in, and now we are all governed under Medical Devices Rules 2017. But look at medical devices. It could be medical textiles, which is regulated by Ministry of Textiles. It could be medical electronics, where regulator is also Ministry of Electronics. It could be an X-ray machine, where regulator is Atomic Energy Regulatory Board under AERB Act. And it could be an MRI machine, which being a non-ionizing radiation is not even there in AERB Act. That's the heterogeneity, the diversification of our sector. It could be an implant that goes inside the body and a mask that we put on our face. And therefore, medical devices, given its speciality, given its heterogeneity, given its differentiation, has multiple regulators depending upon the specialization of the commodity. These regulators are all governed under their respective acts of parent ministries. AERB under Ministry of Atomic Energy, Ministry of Electronics, RCGM in DBT, Department of Biotechnology, and so on and so forth. And therefore, what we need is, apart from CDSCO, the regulator of medical devices, the other regulator of medical devices needs to come on board on a single platform.
Right.
It's not about our regulator CDSCO doing a better job. It's about other regulators like CDSCO doing their job, doing in convergence with our regulator. And I think more than single window, we need a convergence on a single platform where multiple regulators can govern various subsectors of medical technology on one single platform for the benefit of producer, benefit of distributor and benefit of patient.
Awesome. Absolutely. Dr. Sharma, one of the things that we have seen about India, when you look at the producers, we are known as a low cost manufacturer, producer of all equipment, and we are not seen as high quality innovators. How can the industry shift this perception yet remain price competitive when we are serving the world?
Price competitiveness comes from production,
Right.
and margins that you generate from your distributors network.
Mhm.
That does not have a shortcut. That's how business is meant to be.
Right.
Ethically,
Mhm.
without false marketing, false propaganda, without cutting other people's corner or your corner.
Mhm.
An ethical production, manufacturing revenues come from good marketing, good margins, and that's how it should be, and it should continue to be. Research outcomes don't give return on investment today.
Mhm.
Research gives and development gives a return on investment 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
Mhm.
And therefore, industry has to look at it pragmatically.
Mhm.
We also do, being an industrial ecosystem, and I wouldn't shy away from this responsibility myself. AMTZ invests about 15% of its operating costs only on R&D.
Mhm.
Unless a company, an ecosystem, an entity, a manufacturing unit is investing, unless they are investing a minimum of 8 to 10% on R&D, they are not investing for the future.
Correct. Correct.
If they invest 8 to 10% on R&D, they are investing in future, they are investing in their valuation, they are investing in their product line, they are investing in their credibility, they are in fact investing in their own public listing if they were to go for an IPO, right? That's the long gain they should look at.
Are there any systemic barriers that are preventing them to have this deeper investment in R&D?
I think the two barriers that are not barriers that are inhibiting them, but certainly that are barriers that, if it could be addressed, would facilitate them, incentivize them, would be one, a supply of good quality components, which is critical for research and development. You need good quality components to make a good quality machine. And the second pillar would be the right human capital, human resource that is needed for doing the research.
Absolutely.
If we were to collectively invest, now look at any manufacturing unit, 95% of their staff would be diploma or 12th pass or at the most graduation. Less than 3% of their staff is chartered accountants, lawyers, finance, company secretaries, and less than 2% is MTech or PhD.
Right.
If you just take a roll call of our industry, how many human resources in that is a PhD, comes from a research background, you would find the number very as insignificant as zero.
Right.
And therefore, investing in good quality human capital that is research oriented and partnership to bring good quality components for product development are two barriers that, if addressed, would take them faster forward.
When you're talking about the challenges, there are two things that come to mind, and one of them you've already mentioned, which is the talent. The second is having enough capital. Do you think that today capital is still a hurdle for a medical device manufacturing company to gather? And do you think there are some more innovative models of funding and financing these companies that could exist?
So, capital availability is a function of money in the market.
Right.
The flexibility of banking system and its growth,
Mm-hmm.
and the overall growth rate of economy. And that's where I would say we score very high in all three. Our economy is growing at a very healthy rate.
Correct.
Our banking system is well available in the market and is growing.
Yes.
And there is enough money in the market for good quality projects.
Correct.
So I wouldn't say capital is the problem. Can capital be available in more innovative methods? Yes. For example, we have very few MedTech venture capital firms. In fact, AMTZ itself is setting up a capital fund in partnership with other financiers. It's a private fund, not a government fund. We are supporting its creation and development, consolidation. We are creating a 1,000 crore fund to invest in small and medium term companies, which can take them towards public listing in 3 to 4 years.
Awesome.
So, innovative methods are necessary, but lack of capital in the market is a myth. That's not the fact.
We've been talking about Make in India. In fact, it's one of the biggest movement I've seen, which is the vision of the government, vision of our Prime Minister. Despite that, when you go to the hospitals, it is the foreign equipment that dominates the space. What do you think needs to change at that end when the procurement person, the doctor who's going to be using the equipment, feels more confident about investing in a locally made manufactured device?
So, firstly, capital equipment that is at in a hospital, you will have to realize that our sector has low cost, high volume products like gloves, syringes, masks, that is disposable. You use it every day and you dump it every day, so you buy it every day.
Correct.
Then there is a set of item like CT scan and MRI. Once you buy it, you won't buy another one for next 10 years.
Correct. Correct.
And the equipment that you see today is those that were bought 5 or 10 years ago when we didn't exist.
Right.
So a silent revolution is in the making. The new equipment that is coming are all made in India. And you will realize 5 years from now that suddenly the density of Indian made medical equipment in hospital is primarily Indian made, because the foreign equipment that were purchased 10 or 15 years ago got phased out.
Awesome.
Having said that, there are two things that is necessary. One, large number of unstructured healthcare market, private market, and this is not the large hospitals but the Das Babu nursing homes and Kalyani clinics and so on, spread across from Murshidabad to Meerut, from Tirunelveli to Midnapur.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
from Begusarai to Bareilly.
Yes.
I mean, it's not the Boston market, it's Begusarai market. Right? So,
Yes.
it's not large hospital, it's 10 bedded nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
When they buy a modern medical equipment, they need financing.
Right.
They need EMI based financing of medical equipment so that they don't have to shell out 10 crore on day one.
Mm-hmm.
They are ready to hypothecate the medical equipment. They are ready to give collateral. But they need EMI financing for the expensive medical equipment so that they can pay for it as EMI from the revenues of the hospital over 5 to 7 years.
Yes.
And I think that is the structure we are putting in place today. That is what is needed. The second is proof of the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Can a hospital be made? So you would have seen, and there is a beautiful movie on this on YouTube where my speech is captured. We just launched a unique concept in Nagpur.
Mm-hmm.
Called Made in India Hospital.
Okay.
And what I said was, you would have seen a Made in India logo in a Vande Bharat train. But have you seen a Made in India logo on a hospital? No. Because there is not a single hospital that uses 100% equipment made in India.
Right.
We created the first one in Nagpur. Made in India Hospital, where from a syringe to a ventilator, from a stretcher to an MRI, are all made in India, because we make everything at AMTZ.
I actually feel proud when you are telling me this.
And we are hoping to set up 100 Made in India hospitals in next 5 years to give the proof of the pudding that a Made in India medical equipment run hospital entirely by Made in India medical equipment can change the history.
And can produce the same outcomes.
Better outcomes,
benchmarked
outcomes, and then we become examples for the world.
Amazing. I mean, this is really beautiful. So another area that I find needs attention is testing the equipment and certification. You know, what is it that AMTZ is doing in providing that framework to all the manufacturers who are adopted at AMTZ?
AMTZ is today the world's largest medtech cluster and the only cluster in the world to have a WHO center and a World Trade Center. 18 scientific facilities needed to produce medical devices, all categories of medical devices.
Right.
If there is one cluster in the world where all 18 are there in a single place, that's AMTZ India. Having tested the product, you also audit the factory for ISO 13485. We have our own certification agency under Kalam Institute that audits the facility.
Right.
So, product certification and facility certification leading to regulatory approval, it's all a well-designed recipe at AMTZ.
Awesome. Sir, when you look at the development that is happening in the manufacturing sector, there is one area, there are certain areas in which we lag a little behind. When you look at robotics, AI, these are areas which is the need of the future. But are we doing enough in this area? I know there is SSI, which has created India's...
They originated out of AMTZ.
Yes. And they're doing a tremendous job. They've changed the paradigm. In fact, you and me were talking about how...
That was the first robotic surgery company AMTZ brought out. We have 4 more robotic surgery companies in the pipeline. Next 2 years, you will see 5 to 6 homegrown robotic surgery companies in Indian market.
And what about AI development, which is going to power many of these medical devices and equipment?
AI also requires hardware compatibility.
Correct.
Now that fab labs are coming in India, we have large fabs that are coming for semiconductors,
Correct.
Assam, Gujarat and so on, Andhra Pradesh. And therefore, we have to wait for our hardware capability to cross the threshold for software capability to meet and create a product. And therefore, today, AI is happening, but it is happening in a silent way because the hardware was left behind. Thanks to government's push on semiconductor mission, hardware is catching up. Next gen of AI compatible medical products will be from India because software is already our strength. Hardware is about to become our strength.
And sir, apart from hardware, when you're looking at a manufacturer who is building for scale, building beyond the Indian market, and we were also talking about the shortage of talent in terms of biomedical engineers, talent in terms of device designers, the talent in terms of the regulatory experts to guide these people. How do you think we can bridge this gap between what we really need as a talent versus what we are sitting on today?
That's exactly why we have set up the world's first medical technology university at AMTZ campus, which will give MTech medical technology, MTech bioengineering, MBA quality and regulatory affairs, exactly as you mentioned, MBA innovation, entrepreneurship and PhD. I'll tell you one thing, 60% of healthcare market is non-engineers, non-doctors.
Okay.
And we have no academic degree for them. What about our distributors? Don't they deserve an MBA?
Absolutely.
What about our clinical application specialists? Don't they deserve an MTech? But we never had in the country. And therefore, AMTZ is again a pioneer. We are starting world's first university for medical technology to give only master's degree, MTech, MBA and PhDs to fill this gap.
Right. And sir, when you're looking at this particular sector, and we were addressing, you were addressing this issue when the hospitals are not buying or are perceived to not buy the Indian manufactured equipment. The two things that I've heard from doctors, hospital owners and a few people who are involved in the procurement process, they talk of two things. One is the spares being available, right? Second is the product that they buy, which is a high cost equipment, becoming obsolete sooner than ever thought before, right? How are we supporting our Indian manufacturers at AMTZ to overcome these two issues? You know, you can
constant R&D. R&D cannot be a one-in-a-year job. As I mentioned, AMTZ spends about 15% of our operating cost on R&D. R&D is the only one that can keep us ahead of the curve. And therefore, constant product development is the only solution to technology obsolescence. Before technology gets obsolete, you become part of the growth story and hence the technology. On the maintenance, which is a very good question, happy to share that I created the National Equipment Maintenance Program of India. 2015, National Health Mission adopted that program. Our downtime rate in government hospitals for medical equipment reduced from 63% to 1.3%. Historically dysfunctional inventory became functional, and the maintenance program of India created the public-private partnership mode for equipment maintenance, created a large number of 1,000 crore companies in the space of medical equipment maintenance. Now you see, if the Indian medical devices market is 1 lakh crore and the annual maintenance is 5% general rate, the maintenance industry should be at least 5,000 crore.
Correct.
Why is it not 5,000 crore? Exactly because of the problem you highlighted. What we have recently done is we have created a GCC, a Global Capability Center for Medical Equipment Maintenance at AMTZ, so that we capture this 5,000 crore maintenance market for the country. Okay. Not just for India, for rest of the world where biomedical engineers are not available.
So how do you keep yourself always in a state of forward thinking?
National flag. I think country always moves forward. We all have to move forward. Only then country moves forward.
So my last question to you before I let you go is, what are the structural changes that we need to bring to our system so that the industry can progress? I don't think this question is restricted to only device manufacturers, but overall, why can't we replicate what we are doing at AMTZ to other industries as well?
Just two simple English things. These are two English alphabets. We need to adopt one alphabet, let go or sacrifice one alphabet. The alphabet that we need to let go is no. We are champions of saying no. No to reservation, no to bus reservation, no to extra connection, no to license. Everything is no. No is a killer of innovation. The moment we stop saying no, say yes, we are forced to innovate. And the alphabet, the word that we should adopt is why. The culture of why. Children, researchers, everybody needs to ask why. Why makes us intelligent? Because it gives us the knowledge. If we start asking why and stop saying no, innovation would have come in society.
Sir, this is a beautiful note to end this conversation. And you and I have had this conversation earlier that the moment you start or you stop saying no is when you start opening up possibilities.
Absolutely.
Right? And second thing is, when you're opening up these possibilities,
then you won't know everything as an answer.
Absolutely.
Start asking why.
That was coming to that. When you are creating possibilities, you need a reason to start working on it and remain invested in that process.
Absolutely.
And that why gives you the purpose to do so.
Absolutely.
So that you're not dejected when things are not going your way, when it is taking more time.
The why drives you intellectually.
Absolutely. It helps you persevere to achieve your objective.
Absolutely.
Right? Dr. Sharma, thank you so much for taking our time to speak with us at BW Healthcare. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Absolutely my pleasure, and we wish medical technology sector grows in India and becomes something that, and I would like to end this interview by quoting Thomas Alva Edison. Mr. Edison, the great scientist, once mentioned, we will make electricity so cheap. We will make electricity so cheap that only rich will burn the candles.
Right. And see what it is.
And I think we should make medical technology that affordable to global citizens everywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Thank you and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.